All right. So this is the last day of my vacation, so I figured I start working. Why not? So I'm gonna go over just a couple quick stories, and then if there's any questions in the chat, I'll take those. Especially if there's any super chats, I'll take super chats immediately. But let me just start with a couple stories I want to hit on. So Theresa May. So Theresa May is resigning. It's a long time coming. It's finally happening, and it appears that she may be replaced by somebody worse in Boris Johnson. Now, I don't want to talk too much about this because I got to do. I've been on vacation, so I haven't done as much research as I normally would for a video. But there's a hope that, the hope is that there will be a general election, and that even if Boris Johnson becomes leader and is prime minister for a few months, that there will be a general election to hopefully stop that and put Jeremy Corbyn in, assuming he wins, which would be great. But at this point, politics all around the world right now is going very populist, very right-wing populist, or I should say fake populism. So it appears that's the possibility here, kind of as an extension of Brexit. Brexit is sort of a populist right-wing position. So to have Boris Johnson as the potential leader and prime minister in the UK would just kind of be an obvious extension of what's already been going on there. But the hope is that there will be a general election and Jeremy Corbyn wins, but I'll have to wait and see. Next story, before I take some questions, I want to talk about Bernie. So I'm sure you all saw this article from Politico, how they called Bernie cheap, but still rich. I mean, these people, they just can't let it go. This is how it works if you challenge power and money. Because if you don't have power and money and you challenge it, they'll call you bitter. Oh, you're just saying this because you don't have the money yourself. You're just a bitter person. But if you do have it, then you're hypocritical. So you lose either way with these people. They're all about protecting money and power. So Bernie challenging the status quo, Bernie challenging that even though he has some money now, that's going to bother them, but it doesn't change the fact that he has continued to push on the exact same message that he's had for 40 years. So why exactly should anybody care if he has a couple $1 million now, if he's still challenging power as he has always been doing? But this is the kind of thing that the news has to do, because there's no other way to criticize Bernie. He's been so consistent. He's been on these positions. He's been a leader in almost every area. So the only way to try and get after him is to make him appear as a hypocrite, even though he's not, because he's challenging the very power. He would support raising taxes on himself. So that's the kind of thing that they're not going to tell you in a Politico article, because Politico's entire purpose is to protect money and power. All right, I can't be here too long because I got to check out at my hotel soon, but let me take some chat messages if I can find a way to see them. All right, let me scroll to the top here. I'm sorry, my finger's going to be annoying again. Let me change fingers. All right. Enjoy your vacation. Yeah, it's almost over. I'm about to be home in a day or so. What country I'm in? I'm in Hawaii. I have never been here. It's the Big Island because I want to check out the observatory. So it's an observatory on the volcano here. So we went up there yesterday. It's crazy. So the view up there, you're above the clouds, and then you see the sunset from above the clouds, and then you go see the stars. It's an incredible experience. So it's not like a typical Hawaiian island where it's all about the beaches. This is more about adventure. So we went around the island one day, saw it all. It was amazing. And then going up on that mountain and seeing the sunset up there and being above the clouds, it's hard to even describe. Let me get some more questions here. Boris Johnson is a moron. I agree with that. Do you see a reverse of Brexit? I don't know. So I feel like the Labour Party, or at least Jeremy Corbyn, has sort of been back and forth on that himself. I think he's, last I checked, he's still pursuing Brexit, but wants to do it in a way that I guess is more sustainable for the actual people in the country. So I don't see them having another referendum, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. A question about the Leafs. What do the Leafs need to get past what do the Leafs need to do to get past the first round? Change the coach. They need to get rid of Babcock, but the Leafs are cursed, man, and it's the Raptors this year. Raptors are 1 win away from the NBA Finals. The game is tonight. I'm gonna miss it because I'm gonna be on a plane, but I kind of hope they lose so I can come home and watch them win in, I guess it'd be game 6? Yeah, so, or game 7. So, I don't know. But either way, if they win when I'm in a plane, that's fine too. Seeing the Raptors in the finals would be amazing though, because Toronto has not had a winning sports team, at least a major sports team in terms of the, basketball, baseball, hockey, since I guess '93 when the Jays won last time. So that would be great. Scrolling through again. I'm seeing more questions about me, about asking where I'm vacationing. In case you missed it, I'm in Hawaii, the Big Island. It's been great, and I'm about to come home. Before this, though, I was in San Francisco for a few days. It was nice there. Went to Yosemite National Park. That was kind of the purpose of going there. It was my second time in San Francisco. I feel like it's kind of gotten a little worse since I was there last time. I used to want to live in San Francisco, believe it or not. That has changed. Please cover Corbyn more, David. Yeah, now that, a potential election is heating up, I will definitely be covering British politics a little more. Do you see an age of global conflict and fascism, like to the point of great suffering for millions on the horizon? I do, and scares me to death. I think it's already happening, to be quite honest with you. So there has to be a big push in the opposite direction to really fight it. Because as we've seen, moderation or centrism, whatever you want to call it, has led to this global fascism movement. You can't defeat fascism with moderation. You have to go farther to the left. And that's the hope with the Corbyn or with the Bernie Sanders, or in Canada with, I don't know, Jagmeet Singh maybe. Jagmeet Singh also, he's not as, at least his language isn't as strong as I would like him to be on these issues, but right now Jagmeet Singh would be a huge upgrade from Trudeau. But it appears like we're on a path in Canada towards a conservative government, so I don't know, it's hard to really guess at this point. Let me see what else is here. All right, I can't be here too much longer because of my data as well. But I got a super chat. Let me go to that one. Hawaii was my guest last video. Enjoy. Cool. Good guess. It is beautiful here. Biden is not an option. He's getting such great publicity because he's an establishment plant. Yeah, here's the reality. I don't think Biden will win the nomination. I think once the debates start and it rolls around, say September, when it's kind of all sunken in of who is in the race, I don't think Biden's going to last. But if he does win the nomination, I think you're going to get Trump for 4 more years. Because the problem with Biden is he won't excite enough people out to vote. There is the potential that people hate Trump so much that they'll still go out and vote for Biden. But if he wins, it's going to be by a small margin. Another super chat here. Hey Dave, huge fan of your show. What are your thoughts on religion? I'm a progressive Christian, and I'm sad of what Christianity has become. So I grew up, I guess, religious, kind of, as a Catholic. I was brought to church as a kid. I never liked it, but if you're religious and you're helping people, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's when people use religion as an excuse to do bad things, but that isn't necessarily the fault of religion. But in order to defeat that sort of negative aspect of religion, there has to be more vocal, I guess, humanitarian or progressive or left-wing version of what religion can be. But that said, yeah, I don't know, it's to each their own. I don't want to go after religion too much. If it helps you, if you help the world because of it, then no problem. Try to see what else is here. Okay, let me say I'll take 2 more questions unless some more super chats come in, then I'll take those. How do you feel about a Harris-Sanders ticket? Yeah, I no. I don't think so. I thought for a second, maybe there's just better options, right? Like Harris, I don't trust Harris to really. I mean, if she's the VP, then she kind of has to follow, Bernie's lead. But there's better options. Warren's a better option. Tulsi Gabbard's a better option. I don't necessarily see why Harris should be a VP. Try to get one more here. Okay, well, I saw this one on Canada. Hey, David, fellow Canadian here. Are you going to be covering Canadian elections to help us make informed decisions? Choices seem limited. Unfortunately, we may be. I just went away. Limited. Unfortunately, we may get a conservative government, Harper 2.0. Yeah, I'll cover the elections. I mean, it's the elections later this year. I saw someone else asking, am I running for Green Party? No, I'm not. Being a politician was fun for a few months. Actually, it was not fun. It was a lot of work. If you want to run, understand it's a ton of work. It's rewarding if it's what you want to do, but it's the kind of thing where I like having control of my own life, and when you're a politician, the whole point is public service. And what I'm doing now sort of is also public service, but I get to choose the topics I want to cover and talk about. When you're a politician, you kind of have to, I don't know, be super engaged in everything all the time and always be running around. I don't have as much energy that's needed. I mean, when I see Bernie all over the country, or any of these candidates going all over the country, running for president, the amount of effort that takes, the amount of energy that takes. Then again, they also have these massive teams. When I ran as a Green Party candidate, there's like 3 or 4 people. Actually, it was more like one person that was helping me run. So it was a lot of work. But I mean, if it's something that you want to do it. It's not something that really interests me right now. Okay, I'm having a good time. So let me try to say one more that's different than what I've been talking about. Here we go. This is one that I always talk about, so I might as well talk. Oh, and there's also a super chat. So I'll take this Medicare for All question, then I'll do a super chat question. How will Medicare for All be better than my private insurance? I love this question because I answer it all the time, but I'll do it again in case people don't understand. A Medicare for All system, there's so many ways why it's better. For one, it gives you freedom. So a lot of people have private insurance through their employer. It ties them to their job, so even if they don't like their job, they feel like they have to stay in their job to keep their private insurance that may be great private insurance. So having a Medicare for All system completely frees you up, allows you to leave that job, go somewhere else, maybe start a business, do something different. So, I mean, that's one aspect of it. It's great in terms of preventative care, so making you feel like you can actually go to the doctor before any real issues are coming up and not have to worry about, how you're going to pay for this or that. So that's another aspect of it. I want to address some other there's lies about, these universal systems. So there's always this talk about, the wait times in Canada are massive. Not true. I mean, do Americans have wait times too? I know because I hear about them all the time. So it's no different. So in terms of, if you need something like that's life or death, you will get help immediately. So the difference in Canada versus America is that healthcare is given based on need, not based on money. So in a universal system, whoever needs healthcare more, say in terms of like a major surgery, you will get it immediately if you need it to live. If you have a minor surgery, so I had minor surgery years ago, I had to wait 3 months, but it was fine. It wasn't life or death. I could wait 3 months, not a big deal. But in America, it's all based on money. If you can afford great insurance, if you have great insurance, if you can afford the deductibles, the co-pays, all that shit, you don't have to worry about any of that crap in a universal system. It's free at the point of use. So not having to think about it, peace of mind is another huge positive aspect of a universal healthcare system. I mean, really, it amazes me thinking back, like the system in America is it's so old. It feels like ancient history. Like we are still having a conversation about a private insurance-based system, about a system that prioritizes profit over helping people. There is no defense of that. Absolutely no defense of that. So I do feel like, you know, Americans are going to get a universal system eventually. It's just a matter of having the political will and a president to really push it forward. But it also depends on people, just the average person, willing to get out and protest and fight for it. You can't just, like Bernie talks about all the time at his campaign rallies, it can't just be about him winning. I mean, he can't do this by himself. It really will require a massive movement of people to get it done because of all the special interests that are pushing back against it. So understand, to get a universal healthcare system, you have to actually be willing to fight for it. So I think, I mean, I hope I laid out a good, some good ideas of why a universal system is great. I have many videos on that, so I'm sure I didn't cover everything, but there are so many positive aspects to a universal healthcare system that your system is old. It's time to move on to something different. All right, I think I saw another super chat. Let me find it and get out of here because I gotta check out. Hey man, fairly new to your channel. Sorry if you've answered this question before, but what do you identify as politically? Really enjoy your content, mate. So I'm somewhere in between a social democrat and a democratic socialist. I feel like I'm kind of on that progression. So I'm reading a book right now, The Socialist Manifesto by Bhaskar Sankara. It kind of gives you an outline of what a socialist system could look like if we were to move in that direction. So it's making me soften up a little more, understanding how it would actually work in practice. But right now I feel a social democracies, I mean, we see them, especially in Europe, in the Scandinavian countries, that they can work and work effectively. So it may not be, there may always still be the potential of private interest trying to strip all those benefits back and trying to strip that system back to a more capitalist system. So that's sort of the threat of having just social democracy as opposed to democratic socialism. But if you can stay in a social democracy without that threat, then I think that's sort of a good compromise there. But I totally understand the push to democratic socialism, and I mean, right now I'm on that path to sort of waking up to that potential. All right, damn, 18 minutes. All right, I gotta go. Sorry guys. I'll be back next week with more videos. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye.